Okay, so I've had a quick overview of Bootstrap, so now we're going to take a look at what you'll actually be creating during this course. So here we have a totally fictitious company that I've made up for the purpose of these lectures, simply called Excel Technology. So you can see here that we have this large splash page that we initially see once the page is loaded, which is a nice introduction and gives you a chance to sell the key points of the page. So on the left hand side of the page we have the logo and then the generic strapline of the business. Then under that we have a section of lead text and just some more generic intro text. Then on the right hand side of the page we have the classic sign up form. And then underneath that we have a button that will take you to the rest of the content within the page. And also up top here we have the classic Bootstrap navigation bar. So we have the navigation fit the entire width of the page and the logo over on the left hand side and the menu options over here on the right. So that's the actual initial state of the page when the user first visits. Then if we scroll down we can see that we have a social section here with all those social links for the business. And if we hover over the icons we can see that they invert their colours, which is a nice hover effect. Then under this we have the Who We Are section, which can be a nice section to explain what the business is about or can be used as traditional About Us section. Then we have a button underneath this which can be linked to another page or section. Then in the opposite side we have this generic image that explains what the business does. So it looks like this is some form of cloud-based storage solution, but obviously you can add whatever information you like into these sections. Then in the next section we have the latest work, which is a great way to showcase what the business does or showcase some products or a photography showcase, for example. So here I've just used some generic stock photos, and if I hover over one of these you can see that there's a nice hover effect applied with an eye image. So again you could link this through to another page or another section of the page if you wanted to. And each one has some generic text which can be used to introduce or provide additional information for the work. Then under this we have some selling points, so we will use customer satisfaction, instant results and award-winning service, each with their own icon and option for more text. And another popular section to add is customer testimonials. Now these are ideal for any business or portfolio. They can be used to sell your point or display reviews that you have collected over time. And for this we actually use a nice scrolling carousel that displays different reviews on each slide, which is obviously a nice way to display many different types of reviews. Then further down we have another popular section which is a pricing module. So in this scenario we have 3 different plans for each user to decide on, each with unique information. Again, this is ideal for a business or a startup. It doesn't even have to be pricing if you didn't want to. You could use this to display different skills that you have if it's a portfolio, or what services you provide if you're creating a new agency. So again, don't feel like you are locked into what you see here. Obviously it helps if you can work along and create this page with me, but by the end of this course you'll be able to see how creative you can actually be within the Bootstrap framework. Then under this we have the classic contact form, which will just be displayed on the page. We won't actually be plugging this in with any PHP. But be sure to check out my other course called How to Create a PHP Contact Form in Bootstrap. That is actually a separate course that will show you how to plug these forms in so they can be used by the user. Then finally we have our footer. There are some essential information such as the social links and some more detailed contact information for the user. So as you can see we have this nice looking page on our desktop machines. And if we shrink the page down we can see that the whole page is responsive and will work on all devices. So all the sections resize to exactly how we want them thanks to the code that we'll be using throughout the lectures. As well as creating the page we'll also be adding animation to our page. So if I just refresh this, we can see that we have some nice animations added to specific elements of the page. So our initial content fades in, which is a nice effect. Then if we scroll down we can see that the social elements fade up and the Who We Are sections fade in from either side of the page. Then if we scroll further down to the work section we can see that each example fades in one after each other, which is a really nice effect again. Next we have each selling point which fades in one after each other. Then after this we have the reviews which fade up as the user scrolls down. Then of course the reviews continue to scroll within their section. Then we have our pricing modules again which fade in, then the contact form and the footer again which fade into the page. So as you can see we have a nice professional and clean landing page that is fully responsive and one that you will create from scratch. I'll obviously lead you through all the code and explain how and why you're using it. So let's get straight into the Bootstrap 4 framework, which we will do within the next lecture.